About 200 civil servants returned to offices in the National Capital Region at the beginning of this month. It's part of navigating the new normal in the return to the workplace, with some opting for a hybrid work model. Now, that consists of working maybe a few days at the office, a couple of days at home. Employment lawyer Lucifero joins us now to talk more about the pros and cons for employees now. So I guess, Alex, let's start with this. Are you seeing more employers considering transitioning to that hybrid work model?
We are, Matt. Certainly when it comes to office workers, we are seeing most employers, perhaps unsurprisingly, adopt this kind of hybrid model. Now, of course, that doesn't apply to all industries, to all jobs. Certainly, if you're an employee working in manufacturing or in construction, for example, a hybrid model is simply not possible, not feasible. But certainly for lots and lots of office workers, I think both employees and employers have seen huge value in adopting a hybrid system.
And I think just talk about that and touch on that too, because we've seen it with the pandemic. Those that haven't been required to be at work haven't needed to be. So there's been a little bit more leeway. People are still, in fact, there's a lot of people who are reporting an even higher rate of being able to do their job and do it well. So what do you see as some more advantages when it comes to the hybrid model?
Well, I think the advantage for employees is that you have flexibility there in being able to work from home, save time on the commute, save cost on the commute as well, being able to do your job from home that provides those benefits, but also the flexibility of being at home and having more access to the things that you ordinarily have to do in your house. Certainly, those are the advantages from the employee's point of view. From the employer's point of view, of course, I guess there are two factors. There's a potential cost saving there in that moving forward, employers might actually require less office space, less of a footprint, physically speaking, which will, of course, save on those hard costs of rent, etc. There's also a health and safety aspect to this, Matt, which is that employers still have a very strict obligation to maintain health and safety in the workplace. And so by adopting a hybrid model, you're ensuring that there aren't too many employees in your workspace, and so that you can maintain social distancing, maintain that cleanliness and those health and safety terms that you need in order to prevent the spread of COVID, for example, in the workplace.
Right, yes, of course, which is still going to be a concern, especially as we continue through the fall and what we're seeing with the Delta variant. Now, I want to ask you, outside of those industries where you clearly need to be at work, what's an employee's rights when it comes to asking for a flexible work arrangement, when it comes to asking for a model? How would someone go about doing that?
Well, that might be a bit of a tougher one, Matt, in that really the only right that an employee has in this respect is they actually have a right to maintain the terms of employment that they left pre-COVID. So COVID has obviously thrown a spanner in the works when it comes to the terms of employment. Some employees working from home, et cetera. An employee does have the right to return back to whatever terms of employment they left when they had to make alternate arrangements because of COVID, but it doesn't really go much beyond that. So, for example, an employee cannot force an employer to adopt a hybrid model, or cannot force an employer to require them to work from home. That's going to have to be a conversation between the employer and the employee, and there ultimately will have to be an agreement there between the parties moving forward.
Lots of good insight always. Lucifero, appreciate this as always. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Matt.